He was the plumber in the small village where I grew up. We shall refer to him as Mack Rollins, even though that was not his real name. But just in case the old codger's still alive, I wouldn't want him to sue me for something or other. Because that's the kind of guy he was. Mack was crude, lewd, rude, usually in a bad mood, what you might call one mean dude. Now, there were two other fellows who advertised doing plumbing work in our town, but Mack quickly chased them away by bad-mouthing them, criticizing their work, and just generally degrading them. I don't think Mack ever liked anybody, but he especially disrespected women and did not like human beings to come in any other color than toilet paper white. People put up with him. Why? It's hard. It's just hard to get picky when your toilet is backed up. And Mack did a pretty good job of fixing anything in the bathroom as long as you didn't object to how much he might charge you for it. Mack was not a religious man, but spent his Sundays worshiping at the local golf course, adequately cheating. He cheated enough on his score to earn him a self-proclaimed handicap of 7. In case you didn't know, that's pretty good for a small-town plumber. I don't want you to get me wrong. I don't want you to misunderstand me. Nobody liked Mack. If the man had needed a kidney, he had been completely out of luck. But because he performed a function which almost everybody in town eventually had to use, he was tolerated. You see, the only trouble is because Mack treated people like shit. A little bit of that shitty hung around. So the banker was more nasty when he turned down loans. The teachers in the school piled on the homework. The local cop gave more tickets. And the minister down at the church spent an inordinate time preaching on hell. We quickly became a grumbly village. Then, it was one day that Mack went to the local grocery store. He picked up 3 or 4 items and he stepped in front of a lady's cart, pushing himself to the forefront of the checkout line as her little son was sitting in the seat of the cart. He turned and pointed at Mack and he said, "You're a mean man." Without missing a beat, Mack turned to the small toddler and said, "And you're a little prick." Mack giggled. Now, no one knows what came over the cashier who was about to check out Mack's items. Maybe he'd seen too many Mack attacks. Maybe he was tired of paying twice what was needed for his plumbing. Or maybe he was just shocked to see a little boy cursed by a grown-up. But that cashier turned to Mack and with some real steel growing up through his backbone said, "Excuse me, sir. You'll have to go behind the lady since she was before you." Mack was confident of his standing in the community, so he just laughed at the cashier. But when he laughed, 2 other nearby cashiers stepped away from their machines and stood side by side with the bold cashier who had made the demand. Mack looked around as everyone within earshot fell silent. He threw the items he had selected on the ground and said, "I don't need to put up with this," and he left the store. As soon as everybody knew he was gone, there was a smattering of applause as people patted that cashier on the back. After that, things changed. Yes, they did. Folks stopped calling Mack to do their dirty work. The other 2 fellows got plumb better. No, I mean that. They plumbed better. It didn't take long for Mack to lose all his work and find himself destitute and in need. He was smart enough to realize that nobody was going to help him, so he just packed up and he left town. As soon as he was gone, immediately things began to change, return to a more civil and human tone. It was the mayor of our village, I think, who summed it up best. He said, "Just to get your toilet fixed doesn't mean you should have to put up with shit." Well, it wasn't actually what you call a bumper sticker. But well said, Mayor.